Okay, I'm coming on here this morning because it's another morning. I've gotten a lot of dreams with different points, and I've tried to share as many as I can. And I had another one. But what I've learned is if you ask God for prophetic things and visions, He'll give them to you. Because I've asked and He gave them to me. And it's with these stuff, it's more of a knowing that like stuff is going to happen. I mean, I'll have different scenes and stuff pop up, and knowing that certain things will happen. So I've had a judging dream where obviously I was put on trial because it says that what is the word? Basically, there's a person that's in front of God that is basically going, well, this person did this, and that person did this, and that, and the other, and and that person's going to be ultimately kicked out. And I don't know if that has happened yet, but he is going to ultimately be kicked out. But I had a judgment dream, and what he was trying, and this is the sneaky part of the devil, is he tries to put stuff in the water, because what it was is there was bottles on the table that looked identical to the one that I had, because I knew I had a water bottle, and it altered because I could feel it that it was not right. And I know for a fact they put stuff in our water like fluoride. I also heard a rumor that they were putting blood into the water because blood is the soul of people. And so the devil is trying to come up with ways in which to alter the people of God and God's people, because he doesn't want God to take them. He wants to find any sneaky, deceitful way he can to modify us or to get us off track. And that's why God tells us to pray over everything. You need to pray because there's chemicals and stuff that you don't realize is in everything, in your food, in your water, in your air. And these are, he's trying to get people not to make it to heaven. He's trying anything he can. And I don't know why this is allowed, but it is. And I'm frustrated with that point, but I do know God has a plan and knows who his true people are. I do know that the Bible has many manuscripts that can be backed up. However, what I've seen lately is there's been modifications and certain sentences taken out. And you can look up videos on this very topic, but and even in the Bible, I think it's in Matthew, because someone pointed it out, that the parables are in there for a reason, because parables give basically those that are like righteous and they're God's people that are looking for the truth will understand the parable because it's spot on with what God wants to show you. But if you're not his, they're like, why in the world are you talking about a field and a coin and all this other stuff? That makes, to a person that is not of God, it's going to be gibberish. I'm like, what in the world? Why are you talking about these talents? That's how I was when I was a kid. I was like, what? Why are you talking about talents and these different things? I don't understand why you're talking about these. When I was a kid, and I thought and this is the other thing, is like I thought I was saved. I was doing the normal churchy thing. I was going to church and I was being a good church boy, and I was like, oh well, everyone does this. And what's really deceiving is, and it's gotten way worse now, but everyone went to church, and so you were seen as a good Christian if you went to church and abided by the so-called rules that the church, I guess, I wouldn't say fathers, because it's not like the founding fathers, no. But the modern day church fathers, I guess you could call them, like the people that are like right now, are pushing a doctrine that is against the biblical principles. And I didn't figure that out until like 2015, 2016. I knew something was off. And I was like, because I started seeing videos of Christians going to hell. And I mean, God's always been working on me for the last many years, because he's going to use me heavily during this time. And I'll if I remember, I'll go back to it. So I thought that going to church and celebrating God and reading the Bible every now and then and watching TV and all this other stuff and being a part of the world was okay. And then as I've come to know God more and more, I found out that, hey, this is not okay. Because I was giving God not even, like, I was not going to God. I was doing my own thing and going my own way and leading a life that was not pleasing to him. And that's not acceptable. God wants your life fully. He wants you to not be of the world. It says if you are a friend of the world, you're an enemy of God, and vice versa. If you're a friend of God, you're an enemy of the world. And you'll also be, this is kind of part of the inheritance. It's like, on this world, we're going to be persecuted. We're going to have people go against us. We're going to have demonic controlled people go against us. And right now, it's ramped up 10,000 fold, where I have seen a major increase. It used to be very deceitful and I've, like, pastors or so-called professional people and all these people used to do these sneaky things, and like they used to like come out, like when they were talking, it was very seductive and the words that were supposedly good, and now it's blatant. It's like this absolute, in the last year or two, I've noticed that they don't care what they say anymore, because what's happened is, and this is also in the Bible, where it says that the knowledge of this world will become common knowledge, or whatever you want to call it, and that's what's happening. I mean, stuff that has been hidden for a long time, like stuff about giants, stuff about flat earth, stuff about how courts are ruled and how our modern society is maintained. It's all coming out, and people are realizing that the wool has been pulled over their eyes, and that these so-called people in place don't really have our best whatever in mind. These people are manipulative, and you don't realize how manipulative and the schemes that they have until now, because there's a flood of information that's coming out, and you probably have seen this. But we are on less than borrowed time. God always knew when he was going to pull the plug, but he is asking for people to come back to him. But now I don't think he's trying to save as many people as he can before the ultimate, hammer, or whatever you want to call it, comes down. Because another dream that I've had within the last couple of weeks is I saw, and I've had this in my other video, a meteor in the sky, and that meteor had a countdown clock under it, and God was basically saying that that it's gonna hit. And I've seen videos, and I think I've gotten stuff as well. I've gotten revelation that there's going to be a meteor hit off the coast, and it's going to cause a massive tsunami that's going to go to the interior of the U.S. And it's going to be like a mile or two high, and it's going to absolutely flood. And Book of Revelation alludes to that the waters turn bitter. What better way of waters turning bitter than turning salty? Because all that water that's coming out of the ocean, that's salt water, and fresh water and plants that live off of fresh water don't do well when they're in salt water. If you've ever been down to the ocean, you know that not a whole lot of plants live there because of the salt. They can't withstand the salt that is in the air. So that's going to happen, and because of it hitting so hard, what I've heard is that it's going to basically crack the crap out of the crust, and have huge cracks that are going to seep lava and stuff coming out of it. So that'll happen. And I've also heard, and there's been a lot, and I've seen videos and I can't prove them, but there are rumblings of Yellowstone, and there's earthquakes and whatever, and I've seen videos where, oh well, they're shutting down Yellowstone because they're afraid that that's going to go off, and I've also heard from a prophet that there is a great big golden slab, or whatever you want to call it, over Yellowstone holding it back, because and I think that's going to be part of the tribulation. And when that hits, I can't remember the name of the movie, but there was a movie that was where Yellowstone went off, and it was not just like one little caldera, it was the whole thing going up, and the whole valley fell. It was it The Day After Tomorrow, or there was another movie with John Cusack, and basically he was running for his life, but it's going to throw a whole lot of coal or ash and lava into the air, and it will be many days, if not a lot longer, where the effects of it going off are going to be felt. The shock wave from it will be like a nuclear bomb going off, and it's going to send shock waves and destroy anything around it. The caldera under it it stretches all the way into the mid part of Idaho, and I didn't know this until I saw a revelation there was a video on it, and it said that this magma chamber under Yellowstone is so big that it is covering huge amounts of area. So that is not a good thing. But so there's a lot of stuff that's about to happen, and that pertains to that dream that I had. I want to talk about the preppers. I think it's great that they're telling about how to prep and all that, but the thing is right now, our frame of reference for all the stuff happening in our lives is based on what we have seen right now. It's based on floods and all this other stuff, but we have never seen things like Yellowstone. I don't know if it has ever gone off. Geologists who I don't trust have made reference to this, but and it may have happened, but I don't know. There may be stuff out there, and I'm not going to say yes or no, but when stuff that God has happened, it's going to be on a scale of biblical proportions. It alludes to this in Revelation and all the others, that when the day of the Lord hits, it's going to be a day like no other. It's going to be so horrendous and awful that this land's going to change. It says that the mountains and the islands will be moved off of their foundations. It even says that the people that are trying to hide are going to be in the rubble of the mountains. So this mountain that you see before you, which is right here, that's not going to be the same way. When this place, think of like a great big, like if you've ever had like a sifting sand kind of platform where you've moved sand, what happens to all that sand and clay and all that? It crumbles. It does not stay in form. And so imagine God shaking the entire place, and we don't live on a ball, by the way, but he's going to shake the ever-living crap out of this world, and to the point where nothing stands on it. And actually he alludes also when Jesus, it says that not one stone will be left on the other. Not one thing will be left on another. That everything that happens, it's going to be on a scale that no one has seen before. And also, and that's part of it. And then you're going to have giants and drones and and demons that are going to seek you out and utterly destroy you if you're not God's. Anyone that doesn't take the mark will have to run for their lives. If you think that you'll have a prepper cabin in the middle of nowhere that they'll never find, I'm sorry, you're not thinking the right way. And all these Left Behind movies that I've seen are not even remotely close to what's going to happen. Like, I saw one recently where they actually thought that they would have cars. Like, okay, how are you going to have a car when there are no parts? And how are you going to have cars when there's no gasoline? I didn't see gasoline stores in these movies. Did you? So how are you going to have a car? Unless you found a free energy vehicle or something that is able to go places. But you're going to be walking places. You're going to be riding a bike to places. You're not going to be riding around in a car. And also, and you may have a big gun stash, but if it's only you or two of you, imagine a whole mob of 50 or 100 people coming after your facility, knowing that there's food and other resources behind said structure. You don't think they're going to find a way into you? You may pick off 10, 20 of them, but eventually they're going to win and you're not going to make it. So, and if it's just you and you're shooting against them, then you're not going to make it. So I think it's great that you're prepping. I think it's great that you have supplies. Just realize that the scale that you're going to deal with is on a biblical scale, that, like Noah's scale. When Noah's scale happened, water covered the entire earth and killed off everything, except things that belonged in water. So I think it's great that you're prepping, and I think that you should prep. And if you're one of God's chosen, then you should definitely prep. But I'm just trying to give you a frame of reference that the scales that are being used, sorry, it's a little noisy. I'm on the road going to work. But it's on a scale that you've never seen before. And that time is here. I'm waiting with bated breath for it to happen. So all of this is going to happen. And so all this that you see before you, all these mountains and stuff, will not be in the same place. And I don't know if water will be held back, but there is Revelation. It says water will disappear. So that will happen. And then you have the devil trying to manipulate the water systems and pollute the heck out of them so much that you can't use it. I've seen all these trains and all this other stuff where they are putting massive amounts of chemicals in the water and trying to make it so the water is not usable. And that's why you see all this craziness happening, is because they don't want anyone to survive. They are killing the food supply. They're killing all the plants. They're killing anything they can that would help anyone survive. That is their goal. Their goal is to have not one person survive. The devil hates all of us. He does not want to see anyone going to heaven. He does not want anyone going to the place that he left. He's pissed off that he got thrown out. And he hates God so much and the Jewish people so much that he's doing everything he can to make no one there. Why do you think everyone's going against Jews and whatever? And I don't know if he knows everything. I doubt it. I know he doesn't know everything. But he's going after Israel and turning people against Israel because in his mind he thinks that if I get rid of Israel, I get rid of God's people. And God's people, they're like me. They are being awakened, and they are not in Israel. They are God's people who have come to God, and they are throughout all of the nations. Like, I didn't realize that I had ties. I didn't realize that I had ties to this original group of people, and then God revealed to me that, hey, you're one of them. So yeah, so there's that. But that was the revelation I got yesterday, and I posted it. But the devil wants to obliterate anything having to do with Jews. Look at what happened with the Nazi concentration camps. Look at who is always attacked. It is Jews. And what I find really ridiculous is these Jews that believe that the Messiah has not come, and they're the ones that put God on the cross. They're the ones that said crucify him. They're the ones that were the Pharisees and thought that they were high and mighty, and then I guess they were so pissed off that they wanted to alter what was being said, and they're like, oh well you can't teach this because we said so. I mean, there's scriptures that are off limits to them. Like, I think it's one of the verses in Isaiah, and I can't remember if it's 42 or 50 something, but there's one that clearly, if you read it, is in reference to the time of Jesus and him dying on the cross. And they claim that, oh well, this is not true word, and because the reason why they didn't want the Jews originally wanted a conqueror. They wanted someone that would come in and be the king and show off his power and might, and come in a different form than he did. I mean, God came in as a baby in swaddling clothes in a cave in the town of Bethlehem, and so he came in a way that they did not expect at all. They questioned him the whole time, and so yeah. And that's also alluding to the fact that we need to be cautious about where our information comes from, because they were deceived back then, and they're still trying to deceive. And they admit, this is the book of Revelation, but they won't really come to the full knowledge that who they originally crucified was Yeshua dying on the cross, and they won't realize that they're going to be celebrating the Antichrist until it's too late, and they're like, wait, hold on. So that's going to happen. But so they're going to be deceived, and that's all a part of the end. You should really look up the day of the Lord, because you'll see that a lot of people, God can't do that. God's a loving God. Well, if you look up scriptures on the day of the Lord, you're going to see a whole nother side. You're going to see a pissed off God destroying the world. So you can't tell me that he's just like us. He feels all the feelings that you feel. He knows everything that we've gone through. Why do you think he walked the earth? Why do you think he was allowed to come down here? He wanted to get the whole experience. He wanted to feel all the emotions of what it felt like to be on the earth. He wanted to know what it was to be human. I mean, and so he came here on the earth. And so, but I hopefully people are still listening now. Everything I'm saying is true, and I'm sharing as much as I can. But last night I got another dream, and this time, well, I mean, I've had a lot of dreams where I was on a plane, and I've also gotten Bible references, like there's Jeremiah 30, there's Joel 2 and 3, there's the book of Revelation where the 144,000 are tagged, and I think there's even another reference somewhere in Isaiah. I couldn't find it yesterday, but I do believe that there's a chosen group of people that God is going to hide during this time, because it says that God will take care of a group of people, and they won't be wholly unpunished, and that's Jeremiah 30. It says that, but God knows that there's a group of people that have not done, they've been deceived, and so God knows that there's this group of people that wants to be His, that's trying their best, but they have messed up, and so they won't be wholly unpunished, and so they'll be held accountable for their actions. But it also goes along to saying that they will be taken care of in this and get their land, and will be blessed big time after that happens. And I think I may have gotten revelation that this is why I'm in the situation I'm in, because I'm pulling out my hair in my job. But I was on a plane last night, and my dad and his ex-wife were at the airport, and I don't know if they were going somewhere and we were saying our goodbyes, but I was clearly on a plane, and I think I switched planes, but I had a knowing that that I was on a plane going somewhere to a safety area. And I've had many many dreams alluding to this, because there was this one dream where I was shown a helicopter dream where it was like a group of, like, I can't remember exactly how many, and obviously I didn't count my dream. It was like a small handful of people. It was like 6 or 8 people, and we were on an island. And then the sparkly thing came across the water, and I believe it was Yeshua, but I really don't know. But it was this kind of like sparkling. It's kind of like what he did with the disciples, where he walked on water towards them, and they knew that they're like, oh, it's Yeshua. And so, and then there was this other dream where I was at a terminal. Sorry, I'm gonna have to take a really hard turn. But I was at a terminal and running from, and behind me there was this scene of like smoke and whatever outside, and there was this group of us, and we were basically asking each other, hey, are you okay? Did you make it? And everyone said yes. And and last night I got a dream where I knew my dad was okay. I knew that he was going to be going home to heaven, and I find it interesting, his ex-wife, who, because both of us have been praying for her, but she, I think, is going to be okay too, but I don't know. But God also had in my dream, because I've been asking for this in my prayers, that Toby would go to heaven with me, or go to wherever I'm going. And basically I had some kind of carry-on luggage or something to allude to the fact that he was with me on the plane somewhere. I don't think I physically saw him on the plane, but I knew that he was on the plane with me. And so, and I've been getting revelation that a small group of people are going to be going with me to a place where no one will be able to find, that God has hidden this place, and that and the devil will not be able to come after me, and if he does, God will put him in his place. But my dream was on a plane, and I was clearly leaving, and I keep getting these dreams. Like, this is, I don't even know how many dreams I've had with reference to a plane, or seen visions of a plane, or anything like this. It's becoming absurd, but the thing is I've asked for it. I've asked, am I still okay? Am I still going to the place that you're asking me to? And for the last 3 years, I have seen this plane dream happening in various, it's been variations of it, but I've been on a plane with a small group of people, and basically God's telling me, it's like, you're okay, and I'm going to take you somewhere. So I don't know where that somewhere is, and I know it's going to happen quickly, and I believe that all my stuff that I have attained will follow me, and I will be very well taken care of, along with this group of people who I will lead, and yeah. And he's also given me revelation on 2 people that will be with me, who have come up in my dreams as well, and they already know who. Well, one of them doesn't know who she is, and well, she may know, but so yeah. So these are my dreams and my thoughts, and I'm going to cut it there because 30 minutes is the max. So God bless you all, but please, please, please go to God now because you don't have any more time. Their time is now. Goodbye.